1942, I grew up in the segregated town of Ashland, where everyone had a place, and social harmony required keeping your place. I had my first lesson about that on the way to kindergarten at the Episcopal Church, then on the corner of Arlington and Center. We lived 2 blocks east. Now, even though black folks generally had their place in Berkeley Town, there were also black families at 104 and 106 Arlington Street. So as I passed by one day, I spotted a little girl about my age in the front yard of one of those houses. She smiled and waved. I smiled and waved back. I didn't see skin color. I saw a playmate. When I excitedly told my mother about the new friend, she explained why this could not be. I don't recall the exact words she used. I just remember my disappointment and sadness. I never saw her in that yard again, nor did I ever have a playmate who did not look like me.
We rode a bus 53. That was Mr. John Bird's bus. A bus number 41, Miss Louise Randolph's bus. And we would come through an area called Black Creek in Mechanicsville, Virginia. And that's where the European boys would get behind the bus, and they would pass us with the rebel flags and all this crazy paraphernalia, and they had this swing chain. They would swing that thing around and swing it at the bus or swing it up at the windows. It was a scary experience because, like the young man just said, the bus would break down so frequently. And oftentimes when the bus broke down, we had to wait there until our parent finally got there to pick us up.
I started school in 1971, attending Hanover Academy. Unknown to me at the time, Hanover Academy was established in 1959 for white families to avoid the segregation of Hanover County schools. I didn't know why I went there. I just thought it was because my older sisters did and my cousins did. I never felt like we went there due to race because we were raised by example to follow the golden rule and to focus on a person's character versus where they came from or the color of their skin. I learned later that we were removed from Hanover Academy by our parents, and our father resigned from the board after a black family was denied acceptance because of their race. The decision was later reversed, but the family chose not to attend because, of course, they didn't feel welcome.
The anticipation of getting on a school bus filled with Caucasian students was a bit scary, but I did not feel intimidated. As I got onto the bus, there wasn't a single student on the bus that looked like me. It wasn't a warm welcome, and I asked a young boy, could I sit down beside him? As soon as I asked him that, he got up and he moved. And everyone on the bus began to laugh. It was filled with laughter on the bus. Everyone laughed except me. The next day I got on the bus and asked a girl, could I sit down beside her? And she did. She allowed me to sit beside her, and the first thing I thought was she would get up and move again. Instead, she stayed and began to have a small conversation with me. From that moment on, I felt more accepted.
A memory of Mr. Strauss, better known as Snookums, stands out. I am embarrassed that I did not know his given name, but was pleased to learn later that the word Snookums was a term of endearment and not necessarily a put-down. He was a small, friendly man with some intellectual limitations who covered the town on foot and seemed to know and be known by all, as he was the shoeshine boy at LaFoon's barbershop. My elementary Sunday school class was meeting on the steps of Blackwell Auditorium when I noticed him walking north on Henry Street. My young mind assumed that meant he did not have a church to attend. So I went home and told my parents that I thought we should invite Snookums to our church. My father was not amused.
Well, I was stationed in China in 1972. My mother got killed by a white drunk driver. He never served a day. That's how it was back then. He could never understand the pain that he caused their family and the entire family. It was terrible. When I got out of the Air Force, I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina. I needed a job, so I auditioned as a news reporter at Channel 6. I got the job. I had the pleasure of meeting Coretta King, Maynard Jackson, Angela Davis, and James Brown. They came to Wilmington to support a function for the Wilmington 10, 9 black men and 1 black woman who were wrongfully convicted of arson and conspiracy in Wilmington in 1971. I moved on, and God has surely given me favor continuously. I married my childhood sweetheart. We started first grade together. We have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and a great-grandson. We moved back to Ashland in 2004, and I retired from Philip Morris. I'm now a member of Ebenezer Baptist Church with Dr. John Kenny. It's a wonderful place to worship. And a little bit of tidbit, when God's with you, you can't lose. I didn't. Thank you.